5 weeks into the oil crisis and vulnerable sectors are already drowning in its wake. This week, we've seen some action from government to keep the hardest hit afloat. And let's talk about this with News 5 correspondent Gerard de la Peña. Gerard has been covering the oil price movements and the transport sector these past weeks. Hello, welcome sa amin. Nag-overtime ka para sa amin.
Thanks for having me here.
But, alam mo, nakakalungkot makita these grown men crying pag in-interview. Isalaysay mo yung kanilang mga struggles.
Actually, I was able to have interviews with so many drivers during the past couple of weeks. Well, the past month actually. Isa lang yung team na ng mga sinasabi nila. Lahat sila hirap na from earning like 1,000 before. Ngayon nauuwi nila 200, 300 na lang a day. And that's really saddening. So, marami sa kanila hindi na lang nagda-drive. Nagko-quit na lang, napapahinga na lang muna. And then yung iba, yung mga natitira, ayaw na nilang magpaikot-ikot. So, during yung mga patay na oras na tinatawag nila. So that could be between around 10 a.m. up to around 3 p.m. na wala masyadong pasahero. Wala, idle lang sila dun sa mga terminal nila, hindi na lang sila bumabiyahe. Kesa nga naman magpaikot-ikot sila, wasting fuel. Wala naman masyadong pasahero din.
Nakikita mo ba na parang out of touch ang gobyerno sa nangyayari sa mga transport workers?
Ako, in a way, yes. Kasi, like yung mga policies na ini-implement nila, parang something na hindi naiintindihan ng mga jeepney drivers, most especially.
Kagaya ng
Yung itong katulad nitong huling pagpapamigay nila ng subsidy, fuel subsidy. Up to now, ang dami pa rin hindi nakakuha.
Oo nga eh.
Like merong isang parang JODA, Jeepney Operators and Drivers Association, somewhere in Manila. Parang sa kanila, lahat sila hindi pa nakakuha. Despite the fact that they've been driving, ang mas masakla pa dito, yung iba consolidated na nga. So, in essence, they followed the law na mag-consolidate, and yet sila yung wala pa nakukuha na tulong from the government. Hindi ko alam kung ano yung problem dito.
Oo nga, nakakainis mapakinggan ng inefficiency nila.
And this is something that we've seen kahit pa nung pandemic, nag-extend ng tulong ang gobyerno dun sa sector na ito. And yet, post-pandemic, hindi pa rin naaayos yung database. Until now, ang dami pa rin hindi nakakakuha ng tulong, which is frustrating for many of them.
Kasi 1 month na rin, diba? I mean, we're now in the 6th week already of the war. Gerard, marami pa rin hindi nakakakuha. So, hindi pa rin ma-pinpoint din kahit ng gobyerno kung saan nangyayari yung breakdown dito sa pag-distribute ng subsidies.
Well, ang sabi nila, inaayos nila. But up to now, yung DSWD nag-move na sa provinces from NCR. Pero up to now, ang dami pa rin hindi nakakuha ng sinasabing fuel subsidy from the Department of Transportation.
Nakakarampot kung tutuusin. Tapos itong service contracting scheme, baka ganyan din mauuwi na may mga ibang grupo lang ang mabibiyayaan.
Ako personally, having covered this same scheme during the pandemic, ang nakita ko, well, it's something good for the commuters. Kasi libre ang pamasahe nung sa EDSA busway, most especially during the pandemic. It's something good for the commuters. But the problem is, ang daming mga jeepney drivers na actually ako hindi ko alam kung meron jeepney drivers talaga na naambunan, so to speak, nitong service contracting na ito.
So puro bus lang.
We don't really know. Up to now, I don't really know.
Alam mo, they don't explain well.
Yes,
Hindi
yes.
sila transparent with the announcements. Ano pa ba ang mga reklamo dito sa gobyerno?
Yeah, that's one. Yung isang na-interview ko kanina, ang sabi niya, parang April 15 na to, that's Wednesday next week. Hindi pa rin sila informed kung paano gagawin, qualified ba kami, paano ba makasali dyan. So, totally clueless sila sa kung anong mangyayari. Ang isa pa na problem na nakita nila, parang yun medyo out of touch ang government. Hindi nila naiintindihan kung ano yung nangyayari on the ground.
Pero when it comes to this service contracting program, ang plano din ng gobyerno ay mag-install ng GPS sa mga jeep. Paano ba mag-work yun?
I don't really know.
At saka, it sends a bad signal na parang wala kang tiwala para bang mangdadaya pa ang mga jeepney drivers sa gobyerno, di ba? Kaya yun ang dahilan ng GPS, di ba? Para ma-monitor sila.
That's one way of looking at it.
What are the other reasons?
They really have to monitor kasi ang idadahilan nila kasi this is taxpayers' money. We really have, dapat may pupuntahan talaga. Ang problem dito is, parang sabi nila, parang may monthly na babayaran yung mga jeepney drivers na 500 pesos.
Saan?
Para doon sa
Parang
subscription
subscription.
sa GPS. I think this is problematic in a sense na itong mga driver na ito, nanggagaling sila doon sa 300 na nga lang yun na iuwi nila. Tapos ngayon, they'll be getting what, 1,000 a day? And then pagbabayarin mo pa ng 500, which is medyo mabigat for them.
And where is this GP? Alam mo na kung sino yung supplier niyan?
Hindi namin alam kung ano yung pangalan ng supplier, but the DOTR said may nakausap na sila kung sino yung
Mabilis
supplier.
sila doon pagdating sa supplier.
Na naibaba yung presyo to 500. I don't know how much that is
500
before.
for the subscription, pero iba pa
But
for
the
the device.
gadgets,
Oo. Pinaka-GPS
That
device.
aspect, we weren't able to confirm with them kung paano yung mismong spare part, yung gadget, paano yung subscription, kung paano yung details. The last time na na-require itong GPS was with the taxi sometime in 2015, I think. Na tinatry nilang i-modernize yung fleets ng taxi natin. But that particular move, hindi na rin pa nagkaroon ng follow-up kasi na-overtake na sila ng TNVS, di ba? So now, hindi natin alam kung ano na, what happened.
Well, in a way, itong service contracting, relief din naman yan for the drivers,
Yes,
diba? Sabi
of
nila,
course.
malaking tulong yan kasi babayaran sila per kilometer. Pero yung another concern for them is gaano ba kabilis nila mare-receive itong bayad from the government, considering nung pandemic, Gerard, kahit yung mga bus, hanggang ngayon, di pa nila
Hindi pa
nakukuha.
nababayaran. That's why pinupush nila yung GPS para daw mas mabilis makapag ng
Compute.
payout sa mga drivers. Kasi kung hindi GPS, manual silang babantayan ng
GPS sila, hindi nga sila makagawa ng listahang maayos ng lahat ng mga driver, di ba? Yun
And
na lang.
also, I think that's
I know.
problematic in a sense na yung mga hindi nabayaran during the pandemic, ang sabi nila kanina sa amin, hindi raw nag-reconcile yung data from the GPS and the data from the DOTR. I don't know kung ano yung re-reconcile nila. But the thing is, may problem din with the GPS system. So, medyo malabo yung ipapatupad.
So, itong mga pag-cope naman ng mga jeepney drivers, saan sila, yung mga ayaw na yung mga ayaw na magmaneho, anong trabaho meron, may nag-aantay bang trabaho sa kanila?
Ang kwento lang sa atin ng mga yung mga kapwa nila driver, yung iba, wala, talagang pahinga lang. Sabi ko, paano sila mabubuhay kung hindi sila magtatrabaho?
Siguro ang misis merong...
Siguro, may konting kabuhayan siguro, or siguro nakapangutang. We don't really know. But one thing's clear, sila yung kawawa, sila yung victims dito sa scenario na to.
Pero ang mga pasahero naman, willing magbayad ng mas malaki, hindi ba?
Yes,
Kaya
yes,
nakakagulat din, balikan na, i-replay natin yung unang-unang pasok ng krisis na sinuspindi yung pisong fare hike.
Yes,
Oo.
yes, yes.
Ano yung pakiramdam nila nun?
Nung sinuspend yun, syempre they felt betrayed. Na parang ito na nga lang yung inaasahan namin para makaraos kami sa napakataas na presyo ng fuel. And then, hindi siya napatupad. Now, ang nakakatuwa dito, yung mga private citizens, parang nagkukusa na sila. Like, may isang nagkwento sa akin, ang ikli lang ng route, it's less than 5 kilometers. Binigyan daw siya ng 50 pesos. For just one passenger, binigyan siya ng 50 pesos, manong keep the change. Marami raw ganun ngayon. Na kahit 13 pesos lang yung base fare, everyone's willing to shell out extra.
Pero do they feel self-pity pagka ganyan na parang halos manlimos na lang sila? Halos, parang ganun di ba?
Well, I think we've
Pero
seen the worst.
nakakababad ba ng dignidad?
I think we've seen the worst during the pandemic. Yun yung talagang nanlilimos na sila. Kasi bawal silang bumiyahe nun, bawal mag-public transport yung mga tao. I think that's the worst. Right now, sila yun nandito sa stage na, sige, kaya pa. Pag nag-200 per liter ang diesel, mukhang iyon yung talagang baka
Worst
balik
case
tayo dun
scenario.
sa panlilimos. Right now, kaya pa.
Alam mo yung lagi nilang daing, yung mga oil companies, mga dambuhala, mga ganon, no? Ano ba sa tingin mo, based on the pricing and everything, and matagal ka na nag-cover ng transport sector, may collusion nga ba and indecent na nga ba ang profits ng mga oil companies?
Sa tagal ko nag-cover ng business, alam mo parang ano to eh. Para siyang something that we just tolerate. Ang tagal na niyang problema, ang dami ng attempts by the lawmakers to unbundle the prices of fuel. Just to see kung alin ba
Parang
dito
may
yung
transparency
profit.
man lang.
Paano yung components ng binabayad ng mga tao? Saan dito yung kita, saan dito yung expense, saan dito yung nalulugi? I think it's really high time na talagang yung mga lawmakers natin should push for the unbundling or at least ma-check lang man lang itong mga to because we're all in the dark kung saan nga ba napupunta yung binabayad natin.
Because last night we were also talking to Sunny Africa, tapos sinabi niya na ang windfall na nakuha ng mga oil companies aabot na sa 47 billion pesos, and that's in March alone because of the high prices, diba? So
Because their inventory was at a low, was
Yes.
bought at a
Yes.
very low
Before the
price pa.
conflict.
Tapos dina-justify nila eh. It's hard. Go ahead, sorry.
oh, kasi they're saying ganun yung presyo kasi yung bibilhin nila in the future mas
Mahal na.
mahal. It's based on futures din, diba? Pero ang tanong ko, Gerard, tali ba talaga yung government natin? Tali yung mga kamay nila in checking kung may profiteering ba, may price gouging?
I think in terms of imposing prices, yun yung medyo tali yung government. But yun nga, nabanggit ng ilang lawmakers, they can still do something to prevent these abuses.
Kasi hindi ba pwedeng let's say, ang legislature natin mag-pass ng law to tax the profits this year?
Yes.
Diba?
oo.
To
I think
limit.
that's one. I think that's one. And I think, I find it interesting yung move ng Department of Energy to ask the Philippine Competition Commission to investigate if there's collusion, if there's sabwatan, connivance between oil companies. Kasi napakatagal na nitong magtataka ka itong mga oil companies, iba't iba naman yung cost nila sa pag-procure ng
Pero
ng supply
magkakalapit
nila.
ang presyo or halos
Hindi nga magkakalapit. Halos pare-pareho
Kasi
lang sila.
Supposedly, nung pinasa yung oil deregulation law, di ba, you will see more competition. Parang hindi nangyari.
Ngayon, merong competition in a sense na
There's smaller gas stations that have come out.
yeah, and siguro in terms of service, alin ba dito yung may mas magandang service, mas magandang CR, mas may magandang commercial spaces. Siguro in that aspect, but I think at the end of the day,
Did we need a oil deregulation law for that?
definitely
Diba?
no. But I think there's ang titingnan pa rin ng mga consumers at the end of the day is prices. Kung saan may mura doon, pero kung magkakamukha yung presyo, na iba lang sa area, doon tayo sa area kung saan mura.
Oo.
Next week mukhang may rollback, may rare rollback for the first time in several weeks. Malaking bagay ba yun?
I'm trying to observe the movement in the international market. When US and Iran announced this ceasefire, from 110 yung benchmark na WTI crude futures from 110, 115 it was down to 91. And then the following day, may mga missiles pa rin sa Persian Gulf. Naging 95, naging 97. Yesterday, it's 99. Right now, it's 98. So the question is, do we expect a rollback? I think meron, but it's very meager.
Insignificant.
So anong sabi ng crystal ball mo, mga magkano?
Yesterday, ang forecast sila for the first 3 trading days was 350 for diesel, rollback of 350. For gas, it's a rollback of 1 peso or no change. Today, ang latest forecast nila is 650 rollback. I don't know what's going to
Marami pang pwedeng
what's
mangyari.
the results of trading for today. So let's see tomorrow.
Okay, we'll know by Monday.
Monday, yeah.
Monday, right. Thank you so much
Thank
for
you.
reporting to us and going overtime. News 5 correspondent Gerard De La Peña there.